Well, okay. So uh, we started the book of Mishlei of the King Solomon, and the first few verses, which we were in the middle, we hadn't yet finished. The author Shlomo Melech gives what is the plan, why, what does he want to do to achieve with this book. So we are now in verse 4. He said, what was verse 3? To receive the discipline of wisdom, righteousness, justice, and equity, and continues, לתת לפתאים ערומה, לנער דת ומזימה. To give prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the youth. Seems to be that many times he mentions the youth. So you need to have what do you call to put things, important things, for especially young people who he called them now youth, datum zimat, also to people who lack knowledge, which means young people that they haven't managed yet to get much knowledge, and talking about simple people. Simple people here means people who are naive, which they buy anything that they hear, and they're easily misled. Now, King Solomon hopes that with this book, it will help a person to gain the ability to discern between truth and untruth, and will know and won't be naive. So this is what he was talking about, to get prudence. People will not just be enticed to believe everything that they hear, without being able to weigh and what is important, what is true, and it's not. Obviously, we discussed already the person is as the Yetzer Hara, bad inclination, and this can mean in different ways. Can mean that he himself a Yetzer Hara. Also, it means that he's being misled by other people, which may misdirect him or misguide him. So Shlomo Melech wants to help to give knowledge and discern that people will be able to make the right choice. Yeah. Ladat, he wants to give knowledge, which means clear things, clear understanding, and mezima, discretion, which means a little bit deeper things, which just as simple to understand. And then he continues, verse 5, ישמע חכם ויוסף לקח. Let the wise man hear and increase learning. So, because before it was talking about giving knowledge to simple or youth, but it now takes it to a higher degree as well. A wise man can be wise, but still there are always more to learn and to increase more knowledge. ונבון תחבולות תקנה. And navon, the English translation, said understanding man shall acquire wise counsels. In Hebrew, navon, bina, is more than just chacham. Chacham, wise. Navon is higher degree, would say, to learn davar mitoch davar. You can apply more than what seems on face value. He can derive one idea from another. This is Navon. The one commentator says the meaning of the verse is that these proverbs will help not only the simple and the youth, as I've said, but even the erudite who has a vast store of knowledge, and the astute who is able to derive one idea from another, for the wise will gain knowledge and the understanding to learn, we learn to reason more profoundly. Yeah. Interesting, the word, I don't know, in Hebrew, תחבולות, which means תחבולות, I don't understand English, תחבולות. Here it says wise counsel, but תחבולות comes from the word חבל, which means a rope. This is something that you draw the wisdom, like you draw with a rope, you draw the wisdom for yourself. And then he continues, להבין, משל ומליצה, to understand an allegory, and a figure. The words of the wise and their riddles. Many times you want to present an idea, you have to give the moshel. This is what we say, a proverb. The moshel, which simple things, but it represents something more deeper. But here it says the motion itself, the proverb itself, is meaningful beside the idea which it represents. For instance, the commentators gives an example. They're talking about Shlomo Melech talking about in the chapter 4, I think. Let me see. Chapter 4. Right. He talks many times in a way, it's in a different, in chapter 6, like he gives an example which will come to it. It's sixth chapter. Mirza Hashem, one day we'll get to that. He says, for a commandment is a candle, and the Torah is light. And disciplining rebukes are the way of life. So here, for instance, you've got a candle. We know candle by itself, we understand, but also it's got, this is the moshel. The nimshal, what it represents, I don't know what to say in English, proverb, and a nimshal, what it represents is a nimshal. And this is Mishlei, as we said in the beginning, he puts his teaching in the way of Meshalim, of Proverbs. So, for instance, he gives a moshel, our Torah is represented like a candle. Or the next verse, to guard you from an evil woman, from the smoothness of the alien tongue. Now, it takes the evil woman, this is the moshel, but by itself, an evil woman by itself is a meaning. Be aware from an evil woman. But it represents here idolatry. So it says, be aware, like be aware from an evil woman, from idolatry. So this is what I'm talking about. Mashal, let me back to our verse, to understand allegory and the figure. The words of the wise and the riddles. This is what the riddles which comes to give us something more than what is in the simple meaning. Said Rashi, said like this, to understand that they should direct their attention to understand the verses through two methods, the allegory and the figure. They should understand what he compares to the figure, but they should not neglect the figure itself, for that too requires understanding. And this is what he brings the example. When he states, to save you from a strange woman and a foreign one, I quoted chapter 6, but this is chapter 2. Idolatry is meant. This is allegory and also the figure. For he expressed his allegory in terms of a woman should be understood by it, meaning that you shall be aware of a strange woman. But he also, this represents what he, that means idolatry or something which is bad values and so on. Those things expressed explicitly and those to which a riddle alludes.
Rav, I can't understand that. I'm reading it again. It says, Yishma Chacham Yosef Lekach, which means a Chacham will hear it and he will take a lesson. V'navon tachpulot yikneh. Tachpulot, according to the dictionary, is schemes. Schemes and conniving. So it means that somebody who's clever will see that there is kind of some trickery or scheming going on. And then it says he must do that in order that he will understand the mashal. Umalitza divrei chachamim vechidotam. Is that right? Does that make more sense?
Yeah, so in other words, this is what I said. He wants to give us a way how to understand things through a riddle, through a proverb, and to understand this by itself, the proverb by itself has got a value, like examples. But deeper than that is what represents what the riddle and the proverb means. Okay, so all this is part of the introduction. What is the aim of the book? Now comes to, this seems to be the beginning, the 7th verse. יראת השם, ראשית דעת, חוכמה ומוסר. הבלים בזו. The fear of Hashem is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. So it's fundamental. It's fundamental in order to be able to gain this knowledge, to have the fear of Hashem. Before your wisdom, first fear Hashem, the Creator. This I'm quoting Rashi. And that will give your heart the desire to engage in wisdom and in knowledge. Why? For the fools who don't fear Hashem despise wisdom and discipline. So in order to be able to search and to be interested in it, he says, you should have the base where to build your knowledge and understanding on fear of God. Because he tried the whole time to tell us, don't just rely on your wisdom, because, as I said, as we'll see later, the whole time he said, be aware. natural bad inclination that a person has, and while influence or bad influence, but by other people who gives you the wrong knowledge and the wrong ideas. So therefore,
Rav, Rav, I have a question.
yeah,
Is knowledge the same as wisdom? Surely wisdom is different to knowledge. You can, I remember the Rabbi Goss used to say, you can be an educated fool. Now, he might have all the knowledge in the world, but he doesn't have wisdom. So surely your wisdom, your chachma, comes in a different way from Hashem. So you might have knowledge, but it's not wisdom.
no, but okay, I understand what I'm saying, but so how do you get wisdom? Is it just you think you're born with wisdom? When you say you are wise, because this is what God gave you wisdom, you have to develop it.
Yeah, right.
You've got what do you say? A potential to gain wisdom, and here in Mishlei is wisdom and knowledge very much connected. By if you are wise, you will gain knowledge. You'll seek for knowledge, and vice versa. Knowledge will increase your wisdom. So it's very.
I'm not sure that's correct. I'm just looking at it from this. You can be very knowledgeable, but you don't have to be a wise person. And a
Yeah,
person
so
can be a wise person through life's experience without having all that knowledge. So I think that if I remember that in the Hasidic tradition, they say you can learn from a person who is in a tavern. You can learn something from them which is wise. So being knowledgeable is one thing, but wisdom comes through life's experience and how you use your knowledge.
yeah, they said, okay, you've got, you're right, you get experience, but to be able to analyze and to understand the experiences, you have to have methods. And for this, you need to have wisdom.
Yeah.
Then the next basic, which becomes very much talking about the value of education by parents. Verse 8. Shma beni musar avicha. Hearken, my son, to the discipline of your father, and don't forsake the instruction of your mother. So it can mean strictly as it means that listen to your parents, because again, talking to the youngster, as they said, the now, basic education, you start from the parents. So mother and father are very essential in guidance and education. But again, as the Gemara points out, it is representing that the mother, the Torah, where it says, the Torah, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Moshe, to Moses, he gave Torah shebichtav, Torah shebal peh, the written and the oral law. And the mother is talking about generally nation, which the rabbis added to the Torah. So in other words, you've got the basic thing in the Torah, which Torah shebichtav. This is, let's say, call it the father, and the oral law and the additions and the way other rabbis expounded and developed it. This will be the mother, what he used here. And so I made a note, I don't know where I saw it. As in every science, you first of all have to put down the basic in order to build the science, right? So here what he puts, the basic is for wisdom is number one, fear of God, fear of Hashem, because if Yirat Hashem needs to guide you in a very specific way and line, and then on this you build you need the Torah, the knowledge, and the rabbinical law, and so on.
Sorry, can I ask a question, Rabbi? Sorry, can I ask a question again, please? Just,
Sure.
I'm sure you did say it, but I didn't understand it better. The difference between Musar and Torah Imecha. What is the difference? What is Musar and Torah Imecha? Well, how does it differ?
The Musar Avicha, I don't think that the difference, the way that is, say, you represent the father means the basic, what you get in Torah, in the written law and the verbal law. Imecha represent the rabbinical expound, which they actually made the thing to widen it and explain it more. So I don't think that you must understand also this is not what do you say, exact science. You're talking about ideas, philosophy, and so on. So we have to have a little bit of more wider to understand. In the English, that I don't know if English translation, which book you, but I've got here a book that in the English translation, I think maybe will help Sam to understand, called the Musar Avicha, the discipline of your father, and the instruction of your mother. Is that make more? So the idea is we have to accept
I've got 3 minutes left.
the general. Okay, we come to the point here. Then, so as I said, he tells us how we have to attach or connect You have to have the basis, fear of Hashem, and to have the Torah to learn into it. Because this comes to number 9, for they are a wreath of grace for your head and necklace for your neck. Again,
Rav, can you just pull your screen forward? We can't see you.
I don't know what happened. I don't know how all of a
Move,
sudden.
move the top a little bit forward.
And
The top a little bit forward.
I don't know what happened because I can
Oh,
see
your-
only
yes,
your
yes.
name.
Now we can see.
How can you see?
Okay.
Something happened, I don't know. But anyhow, we will have to expand on this number 9, please God, next week to go into it a little bit, okay? So with this, we will finish. I don't know, all of a sudden, how the scenery changed in my computer, but since it is the end of the time, so I'll leave it here, and I will wish you all a good week, a nice week, full of good news, and continue to pray for you in South Africa and for Eretz Israel.
Amen.
Thank you, Rav. Thank you, Amen.
Interesting.
Can I
Thank
just
you,
say
Rav.
how
Have a good night.
I understand this? Rav, are you still there?
No.
Is the roof gone?
No, it's gone.
It's gone.
Oh, well, too bad. Okay.
What was the question, Paul?
No, this Torah, Musar Avicha and Torah Timecha